Blackman with this morning's first spoken word. And now, welcome to our monthly women's segment. I tell you, incarceration is a big deal around this nation, and there are so many mothers whose hearts are broken as they see their son or sons behind bars. And I'm so excited today to have with me author Betty Blaze, who has written a book called Doing Time with My Son. Welcome to Grace and Glory.
Thank you for having me.
And I also have life coach Janice Parker here today on behalf of the Black Family Conference that's coming up. There, you know, our village is on fire.
Yes.
Not that we don't love everyone, but when you are of a particular ethnicity, you tend to notice the things happening in your environment. And many mothers are dealing with incarcerated sons. What caused you to write this necessary book?
Well, I started it back in maybe 2003 when I left the courtroom knowing that my son was going to be gone for 10 years. Mm-hmm. And so as I journeyed through with him, I wanted to document some things along the way that I may have done right or I may have done wrong, mm-hmm. or who may not have helped me when I thought I needed the help the most. And so I started documenting it, and I was encouraged by David Miller and Lamar Shields from the Urban Leadership Institute, and said, Blaze, you got to put this in a book because it's necessary. People need to know what it's like to journey with a loved one who's incarcerated.
I love that you said journey, because so often when people enter the penal system, sometimes they lose all support. How important is it for a mother to stick with her son, whether he be right or wrong? That's her baby. How important is your presence during this whole process?
I can't even begin to tell you the importance of a presence, because if I were not to have journeyed with him through those 10 years, he would have been lost coming home. I needed to make sure that he knew everything that was going on at home, so when he came home, he was up to date on everything and he could go forward with his life. So it's so important.
That's so powerful what you just said. He could go forward with his life. You're a life coach. What are the kinds of things that cause people to get stuck in a season? Because we know life flows in seasons.
It's trauma. Mm-hmm. A lot of times can cause someone to get stuck. Mm-hmm. And sometimes with life coaching, it's more about moving forward, mm-hmm. and not being stuck. But in order to get unstuck, you've got to break that glass ceiling, mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. through targeted questions and time spent and conversations. Mm-hmm. It'll help a person come to a place of awareness for themselves. We can tell somebody all day long, you need to do this, this, and that. But until they come to their own place of self-awareness, they will remain stuck.
Mm-hmm. I think it's so powerful. Thank you, both of you. When you look at someone being incarcerated, most people think of that person. No one looks at the impact on the family, the Absolutely. Dynamics on the family. Your book, Doing Time with My Son, tell us what a reader can expect. And I'm hoping everyone out there will go and get this, even if you're not experiencing it firsthand. Someone in our family, because of we know the statistics, Absolutely. Many of our young men are behind bars, some guilty and some not guilty. But what do you cover in this book that will be helpful?
Well, there's many things in there, because everything that's in there is something that I learned along the way. Mm-hmm. And I thought it necessary not to keep it to myself, that people needed to know, mothers needed to know that their sons or whoever that loved one is has rights inside or behind the walls, mm-hmm. and that they need to advocate for them. I also want mothers to know that they're not to blame, mm-hmm. for their child being there. So let's just X that out, mm-hmm. and move forward, mm-hmm. to a better ending and a new beginning. Mm-hmm. So a lot of things are in there for providers to know their roles of what I needed when I was just simply asking for them to do their jobs.
Did you find there was a lot of support available to you as a mother of an incarcerated son? Were there resources?
There are resources, but you have to look for them. They're not out there for you. Mm-hmm. And I encourage mothers not to listen sometimes to what their son are telling them behind the walls. Mm-hmm. There are programs. My son came out of there with many credits for what he did. He came out with a journeyman's plumbing, level 1, construction. Mm-hmm. He also was active in a group called Youth Challenge for young boys who got adult time that actually David Miller, again, went up to teach him how to facilitate. And when learning to facilitate that, he was 1% of the population that was qualified to do that.
Wow. Tell us what he's doing now, because I think it's so encouraging. Sometimes we see incarceration as the end of our story, but in this case, it's not.
Absolutely not. I'm just so proud of Terrence. 5 years home last month. He just signed a major contract for a beautiful home for him and his wife and his 3-year-old. He also has a 29-year-old. He has his city license. He drives for a major company, and he's just doing everything that was God planned for him to do.
That is so awesome. So the Lord can redeem the time. We know that.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for being here with me today. Closing words?
Yes, I'd like to invite everyone out to our Black Family Conference on September the 22nd through the 24th. And Sister Betty Blaze will be one of our guest speakers.
And her son.
And her son.
Tell us some of the workshop titles as we close. What can one expect?
You can expect Reclaiming Black Fatherhood,
Yeah.
Rescuing Black Motherhood, Perfecting the Blended Family. Nowadays, blended family is on the rise. It's the norm. Enduring love, doing time with my son. And then why therapy? Why do Black families today need therapy? How can therapy
We all
help?
need it. We live in America. God bless you. Thank you so much for being with us today. Up next is Erica Johnson with Gospel Industry News right here on Grace and Glory. Stay tuned.